National School, Meads Yard, the Hazard, only 2 there now, nodding, full as a tick, too much bone in their skulls, the other trotting round with a fare. An hour ago I was passing there. The Jarvies raised their hats. A pointman's back straightened itself upright suddenly against a tramway standard by Mr. Bloom's window. Couldn't they invent something automatic so that the wheel itself is much handier? Well, but that fellow would lose his job then. Well, but then another fellow would get a job making the new invention. Ancient concert rooms, nothing on there. A man in a buff suit with a crepe armlet. Not much grief there. Quarter, mourning. People in law, perhaps. They went past the bleak pulpit of St. Mark's, under the railway bridge, past the Queen's Theatre, in silence. Hoardings. Eugene Stratton, Mrs. Bandman Palmer. Could I go to see Leah tonight, I wonder? I said aye. Or the Lily of Killarney. Elster Grimes Opera Company. Big powerful change. Wet bright bills for next week. Fun on the Bristol. Martin Cunningham could work a pass for the Gaiety. Have to stand a drink or two. As broad as it's long. He's coming in the afternoon. Her songs. Plastos. Sir Philip Crampton's memorial fountain bust. Who was he? How do you do? Martin Cunningham said, raising his palm to his brow in salute. He doesn't see us, Mr. Power said. Yes, he does. How do you do? Who? Mr. Dedalus asked. Blazes Boylan, Mr. Power said. There he is, airing his quiff. Just that moment, I was thinking. Mr. Dedalus bent across to salute. From the door of the Red Bank, the white disc of a straw hat flashed reply. Spruce figure. Passed. Mr. Bloom reviewed the nails of his left hand, then those of his right hand. The nails, yes. Is there anything more in him that she sees? Fascination. Worst man in Dublin. That keeps him alive. They sometimes feel what a person is. Instinct. What a type like that. My nails, I'm just looking at them, well paired, and after, thinking alone. Body getting a bit softy. I would notice that, from remembering. What causes that? I suppose the skin can't contract quickly enough when the flesh falls off, but the shape is there. The shape is still there. Shoulders, hips, plump, night of the dance dressing, shift stuck between the cheeks behind. He clasped his hands between his knees and, satisfied, sent his vacant glance over their faces. Mr. Power asked, How's the concert tour getting on, Bloom? Oh, very well, Mr. Bloom said. I hear great accounts of it. It's a good idea, you see. Are you going yourself? Well, no, Mr. Bloom said. In point of fact, I have to go down to the County Clare on some private business. You see, the idea is to tour the chief towns. What you lose on one, you can make up on the other. Quite so, Martin Cunningham said. Mary Anderson is up there now. Have you good artists? Louis Werner is touring her, Mr. Bloom said. Oh yes, we'll have all top nobbers. J.C. Doyle and John McCormack, I hope, and the best, in fact. And Madame, Mr. Power said, smiling. Last but not least. Mr. Bloom unclasped his hands in a gesture of soft politeness and clasped them. Smith O'Brien. Someone has laid a bunch of flowers there. Woman. Must be his death day. For many happy returns. The carriage wheeling by Farrell's statue united noiselessly their unresisting knees. Oot. A dull-garbed old man from the curbstone tendered his wares, his mouth opening. Oot. 4 bootlaces for a penny. Wonder why he was struck off the rolls. Had his office in Hume Street. Same house as Molly's namesake, Tweedy, Crown Solicitor for Waterford. Has that silk hat ever since. Relics of old decency. Mourning too. Terrible come down, poor wretch. Kicked about like snuff at a wake. O'Callaghan on his last legs. And Madame, 11:20. Up, Mrs. Fleming is into clean. Doing her hair, humming. Voglio e no vorrei. No, vorrei e no. Looking at the tips of her hairs to see if they are split. Mi trema un poco il. Beautiful on that tray, her voice is. Weeping tone. A thrush. A throstle. There is a word, throstle, that expresses that.